So good afternoon, everybody, and sorry to keep you waiting. Let us start our session. We can take a moment to arrive on the cushion, or if you're at home, to arrive in front of your computer or device. So we can do that by taking 3 deep breaths. Every time we inhale, trying to refresh our attention. Every time we exhale, trying to relax and leaving our worries out of the door. Now we will also do 5 minutes of shamatha practice, the calm abiding meditation. So for that there are 4 instructions. The first one is to look at the body posture. So ideally we are on the floor, but if you're on the chair it's perfectly fine. If you're on the chair, just make sure you're not leaning against the support of the chair, not leaning forward either. The most important is for the body to be upright, for the back to be straight. If you're on the floor, the ideal is the full lotus posture. So you have your 2 feet on top of each other leg, but that might be a little bit difficult. Make sure you're not forcing your body, make sure you're not pushing. If you're simply sitting cross-legged, or if you're sitting in half lotus, or if you're sitting in a Burmese style with one leg in front of the other, that is also perfectly fine. The hands, you place them in the concentration mudra. So you have your right hand on top of the left, the 2 thumbs are slightly touching, and this mudra rests on your lap. You can imagine that there is like a string pulling from the crown of your head to keep your body upright, but even though the back is straight, the body remains flexible. The shoulders are relaxed and even, and you can easily turn from left to right. The body remains flexible. The neck is aligned with the spine. You can very slightly tilt the head forward, but not too much. You can place your tongue towards the roof of the mouth, behind the upper teeth. This helps to reduce the production of saliva during the meditation. And finally, we don't meditate with the eyes completely closed. We leave them slightly open, but we don't actually pay attention to what our eyes are seeing. It is the mental consciousness that meditates. So this posture is known as the 7 points Buddha Vairochana meditation posture. And out of the 7 points, the most important is for the body to be upright, for the back to be straight. The second instruction is that for shamatha practice, and more specifically for single-pointed concentration, we need an object of meditation. So if you're familiar with shamatha, you can take the object that you're the most familiar with, such as the breathing or the awareness itself or a Buddha image. And if you're quite relatively new to this meditation, what I would advise is to take the breathing sensation at the entrance of the nostrils as an object. Try to place all your focus there on the breathing sensation at the entrance of the nostrils. The third instruction is that during meditation we tend to get distracted. We tend to lose our object of focus, and the mind starts to wander. There are 2 main ways we get distracted. The first one is called mental excitement. So basically we are distracted with thoughts, mostly about past and future. And the second way we get distracted is with mental laxity or lethargy or dullness. For example, if you just had a very heavy lunch, then it might be, the most dominant distraction that you have the mind starts to sink, kind of falling asleep. So this is another way we get distracted and lose our object of focus. So finally, the last instruction is that there are two antidotes against these two ways we get distracted, and that we need to use, and the whole purpose of doing this meditation is to train in these antidotes. The first antidote is called introspection or alertness. So it is a mental factor that is constantly checking: am I meditating? Am I focused on my object of meditation? So while your main mind is focused on your object of meditation, in the background you have this introspection that is checking: what is the mind doing? Is the mind concentrated or not? And when this introspection notices that the mind has wandered, then we make use of the second antidote, which is called mindfulness. And the role of mindfulness is to remember the object of meditation, to bring the mind back onto the object of meditation, and not to forget the object of meditation again. A little bit like if you have a pet dog at home and the dog runs away, introspection notices that the dog is gone, and mindfulness brings the dog back home. And you can also imagine tying him against the pillar, so that tying his leash against the pillar so that he remains at home. So it's a little bit similar to what we are doing with our mind, trying to remain focused on our object of meditation. So we'll do that for about 5 minutes. So now that our mind is hopefully a little bit more focused, more concentrated, let us look at our motivation for doing this session. Let us try to generate a motivation of bodhicitta, a Mahayana motivation. So of course, specifically we are doing this practice for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Lama Zopa Rinpoche is the co-founder of Tushita and the co-founder of the Foundation for the Preservation of the Mahayana Tradition, which Tushita is part of. Tushita is one of about 160 centers and projects of the FPMT around the world. And so Lama Zopa Rinpoche and Lama Yeshe co-founded this organization. And Lama Zopa Rinpoche took the aspect of passing away almost 1 year ago, in April of last year. And you might know that in the Tibetan culture, it is a tradition to look for the reincarnation of such enlightened masters. For example, the Dalai Lama, is known as the 14th Dalai Lama. Lama Zopa Rinpoche himself was the reincarnation of the Laudo Lama, who was a hermit in Solokhumbu, near the Everest. He had his hermitage there called Laudo. So when he was a young kid, he was reborn next to Laudo and was identified as the reincarnation of the Lama. So now His Holiness the Dalai Lama took the responsibility, to look for and identify the reincarnation of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. And for the time being, His Holiness the Dalai Lama advised all the students of Rinpoche and all the centers of the FPMT to recite this text, chanting the names of the noble Manjushri. So we will engage in this practice for that, but more generally, the main reason we are engaging in this practice is for the greatest benefit for us to transform our minds, basically following the advice of Lama Zopa Rinpoche and His Holiness the Dalai Lama, to purify our minds from all the afflictions and all the mental veils that separate us from the states of nirvana, liberation, and the state of omniscience, the state of full awakening, the state of a Buddha. Why do we want to achieve that state of a Buddha? Is to benefit countless sentient beings who are trapped in samsara, who are trapped in the vicious prison of the mind, continuously taking rebirth again and again since beginningless time, since time immemorial, due to the power of karma and afflictions. All of this is rooted in the self-grasping ignorance. This impression that we have, this misconception that we have, that phenomena and the self exist truly, exist objectively, independently, inherently, intrinsically. We have this impression that phenomena and the self exist solidly from their own side. Due to that, we have the inappropriate attention. We have this impression that we are the center of the universe. We have this impression that we are more important than others. But if we check, there is no logic, there is no valid reason behind these thoughts. In fact, I am only one, others are numberless. And just like myself, all others want to be happy, want to avoid suffering. And because of this impression that we are the center of the universe, due to this self-grasping ignorance, all other afflictions, mental delusions arise, such as anger, desire, jealousy, pride, anxiety, depression, and so on and so forth. And because of these afflictions, constantly we are engaging in non-virtuous actions. Out of excessive desire, for example, we might, lie to obtain something. We might steal the object of our attachment. Out of anger, we might hurt someone. We might even kill. And every time we engage in such a non-virtuous action, a negative karma is left on the mental continuum that will inevitably, at one point or the other, inevitably, the karmas, they ripen. And when we talk about a negative karma, it ripens in the form of an unpleasant experience, an experience of suffering. But even the virtuous actions we do, as long as we are trapped in samsara, as long as we have this self-grasping ignorance, this misconception that apprehends phenomena and the self as existing objectively, as long as we have that, even the good actions that we do, such as helping others, practicing generosity, protecting others, and so on and so forth, they will ripen in the form of pleasant experiences, but within samsara. Meaning, we don't have a choice when they will ripen. We don't have any control. For example, today, we don't know what will happen, how the rest of the day will unfold. Will we have pleasant experiences? Will we have unpleasant experiences? Will we have a good conversation with a friend? Or will suddenly a neighbor come and fight with us? We don't know. We don't have any control over that. I might suddenly develop a headache or tummy ache. Negative karma from the past might ripen at any time. Similarly, at the time of death, according to what is going on in our mind, one of these strong karmas we have accumulated in the past will ripen and propel us into the next rebirth. And again, if we are not familiar with the mind, we don't have control which karma will ripen at the time of death, and therefore we don't have control which rebirth we will take in the next life. This lack of freedom is basically the misery of samsara, the misery of cyclic existence that we have been experiencing since time immemorial. Let us try to generate a sense of compassion for ourselves and all sentient beings, wishing for all sentient beings, including ourselves, to be free from suffering and the causes of suffering, the karma and the afflictions. Not only that, let us try to generate a sense of responsibility. Let us try to give rise to the altruistic intention. Thinking that I myself will free all sentient beings from suffering and the causes of suffering. Why? Because at the present I have this precious human life. Not only am I born as a human being, but I am born as a human being with so many freedoms, endowments, liberties. For example, I have all my physical, mental abilities, and more specifically, I live in a world, I live in a place at a time where the Buddha has appeared 2,500 years ago. And the Buddha has turned the wheel of Dharma. He has given so many teachings for several decades. Not only that, but his teachings are still very much available to this day, especially in this digital era with internet. With just one click, we can read, we can listen to the teachings of the Buddha. Not only that, but there are many qualified teachers, such as His Holiness the Dalai Lama. There are many practitioners, many followers of the Buddha's teachings who can help us on our journey. And not only that, there are many supporters and sponsors, for example, for all these FPMT centers, just like Tushita, to run so many people, are involved, practicing generosity for the center to be able to function. So with all these conditions, I have the incredible opportunity to transform my mind, to purify my mind, to eliminate all the mental veils and achieve the state of a Buddha, the state of full awakening, the state of omniscience, in order to benefit sentient beings perfectly. Having this precious human rebirth is very rare. In fact, we can even see around ourselves so many human beings on the planet, about 8 billion, I think, these days. But how many are actually interested in the Buddha's teachings? How many are interested in working on their minds? So when we have these interests, we have the precious human rebirth, and therefore we have a responsibility for all those animals who cannot even understand the words of the Buddha, all those humans who are distracted, all those humans who are too caught up with their suffering, those who are living at war, in countries that are at war, those who have acute sickness, people who are suffering from poverty, living in the streets, and so on and so forth. We especially have a responsibility towards those beings we have a strong karmic connection with, those beings who in previous lives have been our parents, our brothers, sisters, and so on and so forth. It's as if they are basically waiting for us to achieve the state of awakening in order to help them. So let us try to generate this altruistic intention that I myself will free all sentient beings from suffering and the causes of suffering. And how will I do that? I myself being afflicted and subject to karma. First, I myself must free my mind, purify my mind. I myself should walk, in the footsteps of the Buddha, purify, eliminate all the mental veils, the afflictive and cognitive obscurations, and achieve the state of full awakening. So let us try to generate this most beautiful mind of bodhicitta, the awakening mind, by thinking, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. And so with this motivation in mind, we will engage in the recitation of the text, chanting the names of the noble Manjushri.
I give you one.
So we can turn to page 3. Is it the same page number you have? Yeah, 3?
Yeah.
Good. So we can all read together. And as you might know, Arya Manjushri is the Buddha of wisdom. We have a photo here, with the sword in the right hand, basically transcending illusory appearances. And his left hand is holding, I think it's a Utpala flower, on top of which is a book, and the book is actually the perfection of wisdom, the Prajnaparamita Sutra. So with all his knowledge, all his wisdom is able to transcend the illusory appearances. So he's the wisdom aspect of the Buddha's quality. It's just like you have, Arya Avalokiteshvara. I think we have a statue there. Arya Avalokiteshvara, or Chenrezi in Tibetan, is the compassion aspect of the Buddha. And for example, Arya Tara there, she's the action aspect of the Buddha. She has this posture, she has her leg like this in the dancing posture, like ready to jump. to help us when we have obstacles. So this text is basically praises, praising Arya Manjushri's qualities. So in Indian language, the text in Sanskrit is called Arya Manjushri Nama Sangiti. In Tibetan, Pakpa Jampel Gitsen Yang Dakpar Jöpa. And in English, chanting the names of the noble Manjushri. Homage to thee, ever youthful Manjushri. Then Vajradhara, ever glorious, supreme subduer of the heart to tame, the hero conquering the triple world, the Vaja lord and master of all secrets, with eyes wide open like white lotuses, his face just like a lily in full bloom, while shaking in his hand repeatedly a Vaja of the highest excellence, accompanied by countless Vajapanis, with features such as fierce, turbulent brows, subduers of the heart to tame, heroes appearing with heroic, hideous forms, brandishing in their hands their mighty Vajas, the tips of which emit intensive light, great benefactors to all living beings, through skill, through insight, and through great compassion, with pleased and happy attitudes, with joy, their bodies those of wrathful deities, protectors who assist the Buddha's deeds, their bodies bowing reverentially, paid homage to the true awakened one, the protector, blessed one Tathagata, and joining his two palms respectfully, he said before the Lord the following: O omnipotent Lord, with due concern for me and for my sake, that I may reach complete awakening upon the basis of illusion's nets, and for the sake of every living being, sunk deep into the mud of ignorance, their thoughts disturbed by various afflictions, so that they may obtain the highest fruit. May you, the most supreme awakened one, the blessed one, the world's guru and teacher, who knows the great Samaya's reality, aware of wishes and abilities, reveal to us the great name chanting the wisdom body of the Blessed One, the great Ushnisha, master of all speech, the self-arising wisdom emanation, the wisdom deity called Manjushri, these names with meaning both profound and vast, of great significance, unmatched, serene, with goodness at their start, middle and end, proclaimed by Buddhas of the eons past, and to be taught by Buddhas yet to come, and taught not once but time and time again by all the Buddhas of the present age, which were respectfully recited in illusion's net, the Tantra most supreme, by multitudes of mighty Vajapanis, the joyous guardians of secret mantras. Just this I shall uphold with firm resolve, until I reach my final liberation, so that I may become, O Protector, the bearer of the Buddha's every secret, and this I shall reveal to living beings, according to each one's capacity, in order that afflictions may be quelled, so ignorance may be fully dispelled. With this request to the Tathagata, the master of all secrets Vajrapani, his body bowed, his palms politely joined, he suited before the Lord devotedly. And so the Blessed One, Lord Shakyamuni, and the best of men, the fully awakened one, extending from his mouth his handful's tongue, a tongue unmatched in both its breadth and length, displaying a gentle smile to living beings, a smile that fills the threefold world with light, that tames the enemy, the four maras, that ends unwanted birth in all three forms, his voice melodious like that of Brahma, completely filling all the triple world, replied as follows to the Lord of Secrets, to Vajrapani, strongest of the strong, that you, abounding in supreme compassion, and aiming to assist all living beings, are willing and prepared to hear from me this evil-quelling, purifying chanting, the chanting of the names so filled with meaning, of Manjushri's embodiment of wisdom. How truly excellent, O Vajradhara! How excellent of you, O Vajrapani! And so I shall, O Master of all secrets, reveal just that you, with single-minded focus, listen well. How excellent, responded Vajrapani, so truly excellent, O Blessed One. And then the Blessed One, Lord Shakyamuni, surveyed in full the family great with mantras, the family of the Vidyas and the mantras, the family that is threefold by its nature, the family of and yet born beyond the world, the family great in brightening the world, the foremost family of Mahamudra, and saw the family great with great Ushnishtas. And then, about the Lord of Speech, he spoke these verses, which manifest from non-duality, which bear the quality of non-arising. A, I, U, E, O, A, Shrido, Shri, Snana, Murtir, Ayam, Budho, Buddhanam, Triya, Dva, Vartinam, Om, Vaja, Tikshna, Dhukha, Cheda, Prajna, Jnana, Murtai, Jnana, Kaya, Vagi, Svara, Aparanachayete Nama. And so he is the Blessed One, the Buddha, awakened fully. He is the letter A, the foremost, supreme, with great meaning, arising from great vital force, unborn, beyond expression based on words of speech, the foremost cause of every form of speech, the shining forth of every kind of language, great feast who takes the form of great passion, producing bliss in every sentient being, great feast who takes the form of great anger, great enemy of every mental poison, great feast who is by nature great delusion, delusion's vanquisher for deluded minds, great feast who is in essence great fury, great adversary to all fierceness, great feast who takes the form of great desire,
who vanquishes desire among forms.
He is the great carnal lust, he is great bliss, he is great happiness, he is great joy, he is great appearance bearing forms supreme,
Great complexion marked by great physique,
with great renown, the great munificent one, his mandala voluminous and great, the bearer of the mighty sword of wisdom, the foremost god of flaming great afflictions, possessing great renown, his glory great, his brightness great, his lustrous most supreme, most wide upholder of the great illusion, fulfiller of the great illusion's aims, and raptor by the great illusion's rapture, the great illusion's great illusionist, the foremost lord of Munta, supreme upholder of great discipline, and supporter of great tolerance, with valor rooted in great diligence, samadhi resting through great meditation, endowed with bodies flowing from great wisdom, both great in strength and great in skillful means, a brimming ocean filled with vows and knowledge, by nature great in kindness, limitless, the forceful mind enriched by great compassion, of great insight, of great intelligence, great dexterous one with methods ever great, commanding powers and great miracles, the driving force supreme with speed unmatched,
renowned great Lord of foremost majesty, most valorous,
owing to his great might, destroying the massive mountain of becoming, unyielding, holding strong and massive Vajra, great purifying Lord, the great cruel one, provoking fear in great and daunting creatures, protector as the greatest of all Vidyas, a guru as the greatest of all mantras, traversing well the Mahayana's path, himself the Mahayana's foremost way. He is the Mayra Varochana, the Buddha, observing great intensive silence, arising from the great mantra way. He is at the heart the great mantra way, accomplished in the 10 paramitas, having the 10 paramitas as home, in whom the 10 paramitas are pure, for whom the 10 paramitas are means, protector reigning over all 10 grounds, residing steadily on all 10 grounds,
made pure in nature by the tenfold knowledge,
maintaining purity through tenfold knowledge, with tenfold forms in 10 or tenfold consent,
with tenfold strength,
pervasive Lord of sages, achieving every aim for every being, endowed with tenfold mastery supreme, beginningless complexity devoid, by nature pure reality in essence, unwavering a speaker of the truth, with speech and actions perfectly aligned, a teacher of the non-dual truth, non-dual, atop reality's most lofty peak, with selflessness his wide larynx roar, instilling fear in deer-like misled seekers, with journeys fruitful, traveling everywhere, as swift as thought in all Tathagatas, a victor, slayer of foes, triumphant lord, an universal king with forces great, assembly head, instructor for assemblies, assembly lord, assembly chief, the ruler, most influential, bearing precious burdens, no other bound, the Lord of speech, the master of expression, most skilled in words, adept of language, truthful, with boundless words, the teacher of the truth, providing teachings of the fourfold fold, not coming back, not turning round, rhino, the leader of the Pratyekya Buddhas, gone forth by going forth in different ways, the single cause of all great elements, Arhat, Bhikshu, defilements exhausted, devoid of passion, master of the senses, arrived at comfort, met with security, for he, having cooled down, is free from stains, equipped in full with knowledge and his space, a Sugata, best knower of the world, not thinking me, not clinging unto mine, established in the system of the true truth, and
yet recited life's far shores.
with deeds accomplished, resting on the bank, emerging from untamed, lone awareness, with sword-like insight ever penetrating, discern the Dharma King, the noble Dharma, supreme illuminator of the world, the Dharma Lord, the sovereign of the Dharma, the teacher of the path to excellence, accomplishing all goals, fulfilling aims, completely free from wants of any kind, bereft of thought of the Dharma source, supreme beyond decay, and which by merits gathering, unique great wisdom, wisdom rich, aware of that exists, while gathering the twofold gathering, eternal yogin, king of everywhere, the object of the mind of concentration, the master of intelligent reflection, for by oneself alone he is experienced, immovable, the ultimate beginning, the holder of the three enlightened bodies, the Buddha formed of 5 embodiments, the omnipresent made of 5 wisdoms, his diadem with 5 awakened ones, with all 5 eyes maintaining non-attachment, the great progenitor of all the Buddha's eminent and foremost son, arising from the word of true insight, the sourceless Dharma source existing in him, comprised of Vajas, holy dense and firm, the newborn sovereign ruler of the world, emerging from the sky, the self-arisen, a massive place of knowledge and of insight, illuminating beacon of great light, a lamp of wisdom shining brilliantly, a light for beings, a lantern unto wisdom, with energy supreme, most radiant, the Vidya King, the greatest mantras Lord, the Mantra King achieving noble aims, the great Ushnisha, marvelous Ushnisha, the Lord of space, revealer of all things, the best embodiment of every Buddha, with eyes the joy of every living being, creator manifesting varied forms, great sage, deserving praise, deserving worship, a mantrin born unto the triple family.
Upholding Mantra to the foremost pledge, the greatest bearer of the triple gem, who teaches all 3 fearless vehicles, with snare unfailing, most victorious, the snatcher. The Vajra hook, the snare of excellence. Called Vajra Bhairava, he is terrific. 6 days, the king of anger, hideous. 6 eyes, 6 arms, the ever powerful, bearing his terrible fangs, a skeleton.
Hala hala, 100 faces proud,
The Yama killer,
ruling obstacles, instilling fear with Vajra impetus, the Vajra hearted, famous for his Vajra, with belly large with Vajras of illusion, the Vajra born, the sovereign of the Vajra, akin to space, his core comprised of Vajras, unmoving, haughty with his single dreadlock, his clothes an elephant row height, still moist, the great terrific one who cries ha ha, who screams he he, instilling fervent fear, his laugh a screaming laugh, a booming laugh, he is the Vajra laugh, the mighty whole. He is the noble Sattva, Vajrasattva, the Vajra sovereign Lord, the highest bliss, the Vajra's wrathfulness, the highest joy, intoning hums of Vajra humkara, with Vajra arrows serving as his weapon, his sword comprised of Vajras slashing all, upholding every Vajra bearing, with just a single Vajra ending strife, with eyes like Vajra fire, truly dreadful, with hair that's like a Vajra set ablaze, immersion of the Vajra great immersion, with eyes like Vajra's eyes 100-fold, with Vajra hairs that sprout upon his body, his unique figure marked by Vajra hairs, with nails advancing Vajras at their tips,
skin that's solid like a Vajra's core.
a splendid master donning Vajra garlands, adorned with Vajra fashion ornaments, with booming voice his lover crying ha ha, 6-syllabled producing Vajra rumbles. Great Manjushri sounds supremely loud, a roar unique unto the threefold world, the voice that reaches of every bound of space, preeminent amongst all voice and doubt. He is a being whose fully realized truth, reality, its peak and selflessness, supreme in propagating emptiness, and spoken, teaching both the deep and vast, the Dharma conch, emanating piercing sound, the Dharma gong, arriving at unbounded liberation. He is the Dharma drum in all directions, without a form, with handsome form, supreme, replete with forms diverse, comprised of mind, with splendor shining through his heavy form, with all reflections under his control, invisible, renowned as Lord Supreme, the Lord Supreme who rules the threefold world, abiding on Noble's lofty path, great source of flourishing, the Dharma's crown, with youthful form unique unto all worlds, the elder, senior, father and all beings, adorned with 32 auspicious marks, most beautiful, most handsome in all worlds. The teacher teaching mundane good and knowledge, the teacher to all beings most confident, the world's most trusted guide, protector, savior, the refuge unsurpassed, the guardian, with rich enjoyments filling all of space, the knowledge ocean of omniscient beings, with smashing through and breaking through the cage of cyclic life, the thorough queller of intense affliction, arriving at samsara's opposite shore, his crown the crown of wisdom consecration, his ornaments comprising perfect Buddhas, the soother of the pain of the threefold pain, the ender of the trio ending free, arriving at the threefold liberation, completely free of every obscuration, having achieved equality sky-like, beyond the stains of every last affliction, aware of timelessness in all three times, most eminent amongst all sentient beings, the crown among those crowned with noble virtues, completely free from every kind of substrate, established firmly on the path of space, a splendid wish-fulfilling jewel in hand, the best of all that is precious omnipresent, great wish-fulfilling tree, most plentiful,
the greatest of all great auspicious bosses,
fulfilling the aims of living beings, a doer, an ally, most beloved to all creatures, aware of good and bad, aware of times, the omnipotent present,
abundant pleasures,
conscious of occasions, awake to varied aptitudes in beings, with expertise in threefold liberation, with virtues knowing dharma, auspicious source of all auspiciousness, of all auspicious things the most auspicious, great splendor, glory good, and most prosperous, great reassurance, foremost celebration, great joyousness, the highest form of pleasure, abundance, reverence, action venerable, great happiness, the noble Lord of splendor, the greatest granter of all wishes, wished for, the highest source of refuge, refuge granting, the fearsome enemy of potent danger, alleviating danger in all forms, with tufts of hair, with plumes of luscious hair, with matted locks, cord-tied, five-faced,
five haircuts,
his head well crowned,
his head adorned with garlands
of
of
5 strands, upholding great observances, head shaven, the foremost of observances, chaste student, with great austerities perfected fully, he is the greatest father, Gautama, a Brahmin, Brahma, knower of Brahman, arrived in full Brahman nirvana, awakening its branches liberation, release, complete tranquility, quiescence, nirvana, peacefulness, tranquility, approaching graceful entry to nirvana, the culmination ending pain and pleasure, the state devoid of passion, free from substrates, beyond defeat, unmanifest, unmatched, not making manifest, appearance free, pervasive, timeless, fully omnipresent, minute, beyond defilements, seed-free, unstayed, devoid of passion, passionless, controlling humors, free from every illness, by nature most awakened, fully awake, omniscient, knowing everything supreme, beyond reality as consciousness, pristine awareness bearing non-dual form, beyond conceptualization, effort-free, acting as Buddhas do in every age, the Buddha endless and beginningless, the Buddha the star devoid of sequence, with wisdom as his only eye, unstained, Tathagata with wisdom as his body, the sovereign of all language, great debater, the king of discourse, best of orators, the best and greatest of communicators, the line of speech, with universal vision, true delight, with fire garlands handsome to behold, the endless knot, most radiant, great lustres, with shining rays in hand pervading light, the best and foremost of all great physicians, unequaled in removing thorns of pain, a three providing medicine for all, a four opposing every malady, the lovely crowning jewel of the three worlds, a cluster of the stars most glorious, the end of space in all its 10 directions, the hoisting height of Dharma's victory flag, sharing one large umbrella with the world, with love and kindness as his mandala, the celebrated lotus lord of dance, pervasive in
precious parasol,
the blazing energy of all the Buddhas, with bodies fully shared by all the Buddhas, the highest union form with all the Buddhas, the single teaching thought by all the Buddhas, most glorious with Vajraratna's blessing, the highest sovereign Lord of Sarvaratna, the King Supreme of Sarva Lokeshvara, the Lord on high Sarva Vajradhara, the quintessential mind of Sarva Buddha, residing in the mind of every Buddha, the greatest body born by every Buddha, the lovely speech and writing of a Buddha, the scorching brightness from the Vajra sun, with stainless lustres from the Vashta moon, the great passion of the passion, with multicolored rays that brightly blaze, the perfect Buddha's perfect Vajra posture, retaining for all beings the Buddha's Dharma, for Lotus Buddha's celebrated son, the knowledge treasurer for the omniscient, the sovereign king controlling all illusions, foremost master of the Buddha's spells, called Vajra Tikshna, sword supremely mighty, completely pure, the highest syllable, atop pain's remedy, the Mahayana, with Vajra Dharma as his mighty weapon, with Vajra depth renowned as Shirajik, with Vajra thought aware of how things are, perfecting all perfections perfectly,
adorned by all the grounds of bodhisattvas,
the selflessness of pure phenomena, with luscious that is moonlight unto knowledge, with great endeavors as illusory nets, the foremost master ruling every tantra, endowed with
full with healthy posture,
completely furnished with all wisdom bodies, completely good with intellect supreme, the embryo of earth, sustaining beings, great embryo from which all Buddhas form, with emanation circles most diverse, the highest nature of all entities, supportive the nature of all things, with goals for all dharmas and a reason, supportive the nature of all dharmas, with full awareness of phenomena, in but an instant as the wise sage, with vivid realization of all dharmas. He is a sage, the greatest intellect, the vanquisher of hosts of evil spirits, unwavering, completely pure in nature, grasping the wakefulness of perfect Buddhas, the direct realization of all Buddhas. He is the flame of wisdom, luminous, the great fulfiller of desired aims, the purifier of all evil states, the greatest protector, the earnest liberator of all creatures, unrivaled knight in battle with afflictions, humiliating ignorance his foe, celebrated mind of amorousness, endowed forms heroic and repulsive, the dancer moving to and fro his hundreds of lengthy arms while setting down his stride, the dancer spreading through the whole of space and filling it with streamlets, hundred arms, stood atop
the surface of the earth,
the sole of just one foot pervading all, stood atop
atop the summit of the world,
the nail of his big toe suppressing all, whose aim is one, whose aim is non-dual dharma, whose aim is ultimate beyond destruction, whose mind consists in groups of consciousness with varied objects, forms, and cognitions, amused with every object of existence,
a mind of passion, loving emptiness,
transcending worldly passion and the like, with great enjoyment for the threefold world, with fair complexion white like pristine clouds, with radiance like beams from autumn moons, with luscious rivaling the morning suns, with nail-emitting light of crimson red, whose handsome crown has sterling sapphires, whose hair has tips of sapphire deep blue, with glory from the light of his great jewel, adorned with emanations of the Buddhas, the shaker of the
worldly realms,
his strengths of four miraculous powers, reality with mindfulness supreme, samadhi king of fourfold mindfulness, infused with sense from bloom on body's branches, an ocean of Tathagata virtues, with knowledge of the eightfold path through, with knowledge of the path of perfect Buddhas, the great attachment of all living beings, attachment free, comparable to space, when
springing up in every creature's mind,
he is for every being as swift as mind, aware of all the aptitudes of beings, while captivating
every creature's mind,
with insight into aggregated natures, himself with fully pure five aggregates, atop the peak of every going forth, most skilled in going forth in every way, established on all paths of going forth, the teacher of all forms of going forth, uprooting all becoming with 12 links, endowed with purity in all 12 forms, is formed a way of fourfold noble truth, with realization of the eightfold knowledge, with meaning
the truths in third form,
aware of suchness in 16 forms, and true awakening in 20 forms, awakened fully, knowing all, supreme, dispatching countless sets of some 10 million,
embodiments of emanating Buddhas,
the final realization of all moments, who knows each moment's object for all minds, and manifesting for the sake of beings,
with means derived from varied vehicles,
gone forth by way of all three vehicles, remaining in the single vehicle's fruit, with purified afflictive spheres at heart, annihilating every karmic sphere, arrived at top dry and
from flooding oceans,
emerged from yoga's perilous dark growth, released from general, minor and complete afflictions and the latent latencies, with insight,
meet the foremost sympathy,
achieving fruitful,
aims for living beings,
abiding object-free through all perceptions, with consciousness as object, with cessation, with every being the object of his mind, with knowledge that's the mind of all the Buddhas, residing in the mind of every being, having become their mind's equality, and satisfying the mind of every being. He is for every being great inner joy, confusion-free regarding points of doctrine, completely free from error in all its forms, his thinking free from doubt, his object threefold, his object all three properties by nature, throughout three times the content of five skandhas, discerning clearly each and every moment, awakening in but a single moment, his basic nature equal to all Buddhas, with body bodiless, the best of bodies, with realization of the peak of bodies, displaying his form in every possible way, he is the greatest stone, the precious gem. What all the perfect Buddhas are to know, the Buddha's unsurpassed awakening, devoid of syllables yet born of mantra, arising from the great mantra's threefold family, the father to the meaning of all mantras, the greatest Bindu, void of syllables, with 5 great syllables, great empty one, 100 syllables devoid of Bindu, endowed with every form, yet free from form, supporting half of 16 Bindus, transcending every grouping void of members, sustaining dhyana's fourth and final peak, aware of dhyana's each and every aspect, with knowledge of samadhi's types and families, the best of bodies, body of samadhi, the sovereign king of all enjoyment bodies, the best of bodies, emanation body, the heir to emanations of the Buddhas, with varied emanations everywhere, while benefiting all, however needed, the sovereign of the god of gods, Asura Lord, the ruler of immortals, the king of deities, the god's guru, the highest lord of pramatas, pramata, emerged from cyclic life imposing forest, the single teacher, guru of all beings, in every well-known world in all directions, the eminent bestower of the dharma, concealed by armor made of loving kindness, well shielded in the shield of empathy, by wisdom, concluding war with ignorance and clashes, the Mara's enemy and tamer, hero, eliminating threats from all 4 Maras, defeating all the armies of the Maras, a guide for living beings, the perfect Buddha, deserving homage, worthy of respect, deserving reverence, always honorable, deserving worship, worthy of God, the highest Guru ever venerable, traversing all the 3 worlds in just one stride, his step expanding with knowledge of the 3 world-verse and pure, with 6-fold higher knowledge and recall, the Bodhisattva and Mahasattva, with power great, transcending worldly life, perfected by his excellence of insight, now unified with insight's highest nature, the whole aware of self, aware of other, for fit for all he is the best of men, surpassing all to which he is compared, supreme most Lord of knowing and what's known, the foremost master of imparting dharma, who shows the meaning of the fourfold seal, the most revered amongst all living beings, engaged in going forth on all 3 paths, with glory purified by ultimate truth, most fortunate within the threefold world, the celebrated source of all endowments, supreme among the glorious Manjushri. Homage to you, bone granter, best of Vajras, O summit of existence, homage to you. Homage to you whose source is emptiness, O Buddha's awakening, homage to you. O passion of the Buddhas, homage to you. Desire of the Buddhas, I pay you homage. O love of every Buddha, homage to you. The joy of all the Buddhas, I pay you homage. O smile of every Buddha, homage to you. The laugh of all the Buddhas, I pay you homage. O speech of every Buddha, homage to you. The heart of all the Buddhas, I pay you homage. Arisen from non-being, homage to you. Homage to you, arisen from the Buddhas. Arisen from the sky, homage to you. Homage to you, born of pristine wisdom. O net of illusions, homage to you, the Buddha's spectacle. Homage to you, the everything of all. O body of wisdom, homage to you. Om Sarva Dharma Bhava Swabhava Vishuddha Vaja A Prakirti Parishuddha Sarva Dharma Yat Uta Sarva Tathagata Jnana Kaya Manjushri Parishiram Upadaye Sarva Tathagata Hridayam Hara Hara Om Hum Shri Bhagavan Jnana Murti Vagishvara Mahavacha Sarva Dharma Gaganamala Supari Shuddha Dharma Dhatu Jnana Garbha Then Vajradhara, ever glorious, most pleased and satisfied, with folded palms, prostrated to the Buddha, noble God, the Blessed One, the Lord Tathagata, and with a host of other Vajrapanis of varied forms, the Lord of Guyakas, the sublime protectors, noble rightful kings, he then exclaimed this ever-fervent praise. Protector, we rejoice, how excellent what you have clearly taught. Through you our lofty aim has been achieved, which leads to true and full awakening. And so the aims of helpless mundane beings who seek the fruits of perfect liberations, just this thought is the
Mahayana is the noble path that leads to excellence.
with largeness, vastness, and profundity, with meaning great, achieving beings' aims, just this comprises every Buddha's sphere, just this thought is by all the awakened ones. So then we can turn to the prayers for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. So we have this separate A4 booklet. And we will start with the one composed by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Peerless teacher, an assembly of the children of the victorious ones, Shravakas and Pratyekya Buddhas, victorious law song, father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now, holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings, through explanation and practice. You wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged, incomparable venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefits and happiness emerge, and for mother living beings, you suddenly departed to peace, what a great loss. Nevertheless, through the enseving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels, and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in glory for fortunate disciples. And then the next one we'll read is from Chado Rinpoche. Patient in bearing the hardships of spreading the teachings of the Muni in general, and the teachings of the victorious Jamong in hundreds of directions, Lord of Dharma holding the three vows and wearing saffron robes, please quickly return as the glory of the peerless teachings. You held the teachings of explanation and practice with great asceticism, unable to bear that transmigratory beings are confused by the darkness of suffering. Loving kindness, you skillfully lead them to happiness. Unparalleled Son of the teachings, please return quickly, beautified by the ornament of the supreme patience in increasing the practice of the supreme authentic teachings of the victorious ones through listening, reflection, and meditation, guide of all transmigratory beings along the perfect path. True and perfect pure Guru, please return quickly. And finally the one composed by Kadro Rinpoche, Kadrola, Ranjung Neljorma Konjo Tselingma Rinpoche, her full name. Rude Guru, think of me. Guru, consider me. Most gracious Rude Guru, care for me. Most gracious Rude Guru, do not deprive us of a compassionate refuge. Listen and consider this heartfelt prayer made by a tormented disciple. Guru, embodiment of the Buddhas of the three times, please bless me. May you rest in all-pervading great bliss, equipoised within the diadem of unpitied luminosity. Yet the playful dance of your loving compassion emanates in myriad ways. The time has come for the return of the swift appearance of your magical wisdom, the Rupakaya, and for you to care for us once again with your affectionate compassion. Arise, arise, arise from the Dharmakaya. I invoke you, I call upon you, I implore you on behalf of all beings. Do not rest in Kechara or the pure realms. Rather, to benefit the Buddha's teachings and all living beings, swiftly return to this southern continent to spread the Buddha Dharma of study and realization. Quickly return to guide us poor, wretched beings. Such is the desperate cry of us, your disciples. Return so that we may actually behold your presence and receive the blessings of your body, speech, and mind. All violations, errors, mistakes, and broken samaya that we have made in relation to your body, speech, and mind and spontaneous activity, through our being confused and conceiving things in erroneous ways, we confess within the luminous emptiness of your three kayas. Of everything auspicious, the supreme auspiciousness, may there be the auspicious of emptiness and compassion, of a timely meeting between master and disciples. Through the force of the truth of unchanging suchness, may the unmistaken reincarnation return quickly. This lament was made by me, a Dakini with pure faith and Samaya, her eyes filled with tears of sorrow. May these wishes of a beggar woman be fulfilled through the blessings of the deities of the tree roots. Perception, its object, and the perceiver all dissolve within the expanse, the blissful clarity of suchness. Then we can turn to the long life prayer for His Holiness the Dalai Lama. That's the separate A4 sheet. So due to the merits we have accumulated by meditating on shamatha, meditating on bodhicitta, and reciting the text, the names of the Arya Manjushri. Due to these merits, may His Holiness the Dalai Lama have a very long and healthy life so that he may continue his many activities throughout the world and specifically continue to guide us and teach the Dharma. May all his wishes be fulfilled immediately. So we can read the English at the bottom of the page in the bold characters. We can read this together. Incomparably kind and supreme Tenzin Gyatso, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, may you have a long life and all your wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. We can also dedicate these merits so that each and every one of us may soon, very soon, become fully awakened, very soon achieve the state of omniscience and be able to guide sentient beings perfectly without leaving even one sentient being aside. May the very precious minds of bodhicitta and the wisdom realizing emptiness that have not arisen arise and grow, and may whatever has already arisen, may that never decline but increase forevermore. And finally, due to these merits, may the wars that are happening around the world immediately come to an end. May there be no new war, may there be no famine, may there be no epidemic, may there be no natural disaster, no catastrophes of the elements, and may peace and harmony prevail in everyone's hearts and lives. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon in Tushita and online. And our next activity is tomorrow at 11 a.m. here as well as online. Lokesh Jindal is coming for the third time to Tushita. Lokesh is one of the students of the first batch of the Nalanda Master's Course of Tibet House. So he amassed a lot of knowledge there with the Geshe Damdul at Tibet House, and now he's sharing with us. So he's coming for the third time. He's going to come every alternate Sunday, actually. And so far we explored with him. It's in the form of an interactive discussion, actually. We explored the difference between faith and reason. And tomorrow we'll start exploring the topic, are you and I the same? So that's going to be an interesting discussion tomorrow at 11. And then Monday actually is solar eclipse. I don't think it's observable from India, but in the US it is. But anyway, it's an event of the planet, and Lama Zopa Rinpoche, highly encouraged us to do several practices on these days, because the merits of doing any practice is really increased during those days. And one of the practices that Rinpoche recommends doing during an eclipse, and actually we will meet here at 6:30, or also online, and this is in the middle of the eclipse, so the best time to do the practice is to do the Vajrasattva purification meditation. So we'll do that on Monday evening, online as well, and in person here. 6:30 p.m. Yeah. Not in the morning. And, but if you want to practice in the morning, we have the morning meditation from 9 to 9:30. At the moment, this is only happening online on Zoom. So you're most welcome to join for that, Monday to Friday, 9 to 9:30. And yeah.
What time is the eclipse? Indian time? No?
I think it starts end of the morning and finishes end of the evening or something like that. It's quite a long. I forgot, but yeah. I should check again. But I know that at 6:30 p.m. while we are doing the Vajrasattva, it's the middle of the eclipse. Yeah, like it's ongoing. Yeah, I always share on the screen. Yeah.
So if you can share the entire booklet beforehand in the WhatsApp group, that would be beneficial.
This one you can.
Download it also.
This one you can download on the FPMT website if you just type Vajrasattva. Vajrasattva Purification Meditation, I think it's called, or Vajrasattva Sadhana.
Vajrasattva practice.
Yeah, so if you type that on the FPMT website, you'll find it for sure. It's a PDF there you can download. All right, thank you. See you soon, people online. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Nico.
Thank you.